welcome to Two Guys Talking. This is a podcast between me, Marcus, and
Chris.
And we're going to be talking about various topics each week that we do the podcast. At this time, I would like to announce our sponsor. We do not have a sponsor, and if you would like to, if you would like to, let me finish. If you would like to sponsor the podcast, then we do accept mail via carrier pigeon.
I was going to say, if we were going to say we're having a sponsor, our sponsor is beer. No specific brand, just the advent of alcoholism that will be exhibited during these episodes.
Sounds good to me. Have you got the bar blade?
It's right there, my friend.
That's awesome. Right, sweet. Okay. So we've wanted to do this for a little while. And here you go. Basically, we've got the equipment. We've just never done it. I've had this microphone for like 4 years. I don't know why it's taken us so long to get around to doing a podcast.
I don't think it's so much how long it's taken us to get a podcast going. It's more something clicked that we should do a podcast, since in the past it's been really difficult. Like, we've had different schedules, we've had different things going on in our lives.
Yeah, it's lockdown. It's lockdown. Yeah.
And only recently it's come to mind that, hey, we can make a podcast since we've recently got a flat together.
Mm-hmm.
We're both in lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much going on in our lives, you know?
There's not really much going on. And it's like we're both creative individuals. We did similar courses at uni. I did broadcasting. You did... What was it?
Yeah, I did film and TV production.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So I think it's our calling to do something like this. Now, one thing I'd like to say is that a lot of people in these times, they're bored, they want to do something new. I know a lot of people. I know 2 people doing a podcast. Like, they've started doing a podcast. So over Zoom, great, whatever, right? But we have the equipment. All we need is the topic of conversation.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. This was the topic I was bringing up earlier with you, and stop myself. It's like, literally, the one thing I get is, if you talk about something before a podcast, when you get to the podcast, you're going to have nothing to say.
Yeah, you've already exuberated.
Yeah.
Is that even the right word? I'm not going to clue. You've already spent your energy.
Yeah.
In the initial discussion, right?
Pretty much.
So it's better to save these things, and that's been really annoying because I've come home to you every night this week and wanted to talk to you, and I've been like, nope, cannot speak to you. Got to wait till Sunday when we record.
I've been the same way. I've been like, hey, how are you doing? How was work?
It's like no, fuck up. Yeah. I'm not speaking to you. We will save it. The problem is, that was a few days ago, and I've forgotten what I was going to say. So we've been trying to make a list of the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah, we've started a mood board.
This is me prompting you to pull up the mood board so I can have a look, because
we've got a mood board going on Wakelet.
Yeah.
We each add our bits and bobs during the week of stuff that we would perhaps like to talk about on the podcast. And it's not a list. It's more of a guide. We might not talk about everything.
Ideas, inspiration. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, so our goal for this is to record for 60 minutes with a 10-minute bit of headroom, right? I find myself looking at the microphone as if I'm talking to the mic, but I mean, there's no face on it. I might draw some eyes or something. The problem is, I mean, there's not
some googly eyes on there.
That could work. There's not really much in here, but then the way that, I mean, we've known each other for a long time, right? So we rabbit on for a long time.
We've known each other since kids, essentially.
Yeah.
Our experience of rounding out conversations has taken us at least an hour sometimes to say, right, that's enough. I'm going home. Fuck you. Bye-bye.
Right. And that's why we chose 60 minutes for the length of this podcast. So the first thing that I'd like to talk about, obviously, right, I don't want to talk about COVID too much. It's boring. Everyone does it. But
lockdown, baby.
But when Russia gets involved, it's quite comical. So I've got an article here on Twitter, okay, from Bloomberg. Russia is luring in vaccine participants with free ice cream.
Oh.
Yeah.
They said don't get in a van as a kid, and this is
literally what's going on. We're in Soviet Russia. So, according to this,
And before we continue, I'd just like to say, if you have the option to get a vaccine, get a fucking vaccine. Don't be a cunt.
Right, okay, so, that's my second point of topic, right? So let's just... According to the article, it says here, while shortages, confusion and long lines hinder vaccination rollouts in many countries, the Russian capital is a rare place faced with oversupply. So apparently they've got too many vaccines. That's interesting. The apparent ease of access masks a difficulty for Russia in persuading people to get inoculated. So they've got so much of it that they just don't want it.
Yeah, but you got to remember as well, that's great for Russia. I think they said they had something like a 94% efficiency rate.
Okay.
But you've got other countries in the world that can't get hold of a vaccine. You know, it's kind of depressing because your government's got to pay to have them shipped in, and it's not something that happens for free.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like in a proper world where everyone is treated as equal, everyone should have the same access to stuff such as vaccines.
We're all citizens. We all have an equal...
We're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate thing. What I want to say... So, should I get a vaccine or not? Right. So, that brings me on to another point. I don't know if your laptop has audio on it, so I'm not going to play the video. But basically... Greece, okay, they were talking about introducing legislation that means you have to have in your passport a stamp that verifies that you've had the vaccine.
I like this. I like this a lot. That is a very good idea, and I can actually respect the Greeks for this.
Okay, counterpoint, the government's like, no, fuck you, like you specifically, right? We're not adhering to that. Their argument, okay, is that we are a free country. It's all about consent, right? And we're not going to force people to get vaccines. Now...
That's fine, right? That's fine. But if you get a vaccine and you've obviously consented to the vaccine, and it makes no difference if you put the stamp in your passport, it then becomes the other nations in the world to accept or decline your ability to travel.
So it's the choice of the... where you're travelling to. Well, yeah, obviously,
it's the choice of the individual at the end of the day. If you get the vaccine and you have this proof stamp to say you have this vaccine and you're free to travel, but if you don't have that stamp and your travel is restricted, that's a choice that you would have to live with.
Well, that's the thing, because no one's saying you have to get the vaccine. Personally, I don't know why you wouldn't, but there are people who are like, well, I'm not getting the vaccine, I'm not doing that, no. And that might be one of you listening, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But you can't expect the same... Like, there's a reason why people want to get the vaccine as a stamp on a passport. Can you come in, can you not? It's the reason why a lot of Brits are annoyed that the government didn't block, air travel so early, okay?
Right, let's step away from that.
Is it too political, right?
Yeah, that's getting into a political side as opposed to just a nice little banterous conversation. I will say this. Nature is a wonderful thing.
Okay.
Right? We've had plagues and diseases for centuries, millennia. And they've been stomped out through evolution, through building immunity. However, that also comes with a great loss of life. And it's choosing whether to deal with it as you would naturally or working towards getting rid of it. Sure, you could argue artificially, but saving way more lives.
There's a reason why all those bodies buried in Iceland, you're not allowed to go digging. Is it true that you're not allowed to have a funeral, like a burial, in Iceland? Because they're scared of digging up some old disease that could come back and we've not got a vaccine for because it was hundreds of years ago.
You know what? I've not heard about this, but it wouldn't surprise me. Because they have the seed locker in Norway, is it? Where they've got a ton of seeds just buried underground.
I'm agreeing, but I've no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, they've got a place in the Arctic Circle, essentially.
Right. Okay.
Where they've buried a load of current seeds for future generations. So if something dies out, the seeds are stored and frozen for people in the future.
Wow. What, you mean like plants and stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
Plants, food, everything. If you can get it in a seed form, it's probably in that locker.
I wonder if they've got the original seed for Herobrine on Minecraft, which was recently discovered. Actually, I must say, I don't know if you know. So I don't have much detail on it, but if you're a fan of Minecraft, the worlds are generated randomly, and in computing, in order to generate a random number, you need a seed, basically like a foundation. Well, it's like with plants, right?
Yeah.
And apparently, they found not only the original seed from the home screen. So the home screen used to show like some world. Apparently it's a real world. But also the seed where Herobrine exists. But this is quite a niche topic. I'm not sure if anyone here gives a shit.
Don't worry. They'll remove it in the next update.
Well, I mean, I've not played Minecraft for a while, but I mean, Jeb, he's still there. He's still going. Still,
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it has become an immensely popular game, which I like.
It's had a resurgence actually this year. So
lockdown,
like YouTube Rewind didn't happen for 2020. I don't really watch Mr. Beast, but Mr. Beast did his own Rewind, and obviously because he's like into gaming and that's his niche, like, you know, it was quite his YouTube Rewind wasn't a true representation of all of YouTube, but then the Rewind never is, so fuck it. So
you know what? In saying that, the Rewind gets a lot of stick, and I understand where the stick comes from, and it's the kind of celebrity face that they tried to put on it. Like, instead of focusing on creators, big and small, they started to pull in people who already had a massive following. And
right.
I think that's where they went wrong.
Right,
like,
this is my issue. Right, fucking Jimmy Fallon. Right, what's the other guy? Joe
Will Smith.
Okay, yeah.
He has a channel. I agree.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
I don't think it was something that represented.
Right, YouTube broadcast yourself. That is the original tagline before they did the rebrand. Whatever, right? YouTube is a place for people. I'm making it sound like celebrities aren't people. Where are the home videos, man? Like, Google. Do you remember Google Video?
God, no, I do not. I remember YouTube.
I remember getting pissed off when I would be on Google Video, the website, 2005, and I would go on there, and redirect to YouTube. I'm like, what the fuck? What is this YouTube? What is this shit? Like, I was watching videos of Chinese kids doing like dancing and shit. I was watching.
Did they have the internet
Smosh.
in China back then?
No. Smosh were on, like, it was just a different platform, but of course Google bought out YouTube and just changed. Very nice. Just changed. I mean, fair. Like, I don't know. Fair enough, but I mean, I've kind of forgotten. What my point was.
Google has changed YouTube a lot in the years.
Do you remember 2013?
Let me finish.
Okay.
Like, YouTube has changed. No, Google has changed YouTube a lot in the years under its stewardship, if you like.
Yeah.
Some for better, some for worse. I feel like YouTube as a platform is starting to splinter into different platforms. Like, you have subscription services on other.
YouTube Music, YouTube Gaming.
Not that. Not even like within the YouTube algorithm. I mean, like, you've got Curiosity Stream to focus on.
How you
history.
can join different platforms, and
yeah,
they're trying to do what Patreon did, right? And that's
each one attacks a niche.
Yeah, but the reason why Patreon exists and has got so big is because creators aren't making money in the traditional way. Like, you can't, like, ad revenue. I've got an ad blocker. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna use an ad blocker. Fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, of course. I'm not sitting through 2 YouTube ads just to watch a video that I'm going to click off anyway in 30 seconds time.
You know what my problem is?
What?
There's some videos I go on, and maybe they're 8-10 minutes in length. That's fine. That's a nice, easy, consumable video. But then you see the yellow bars at the bottom.
Oh.
And it's like an ad every minute.
You've got a trick for this.
And you're watching more ad time if you don't skip. More ad time than the video itself.
You know what's bad, right? So when it's like an hour-long video, okay, think about this, right? What YouTube does is they pick videos that have the longest viewer retention, right, and have the longest length, because they're getting the most amount of time that people are watching something, right? So what kind of video is going to attract advertisers by that model? It's live streams or videos where it's like a DJ set or something, right? So I listen to DJ sets. Yeah. I watch the recordings back, and it's like an hour-long video, with extremely high viewer retention because people are listening to the whole set in the background, whatever, right?
And if you're like me, that's something I would use to fall asleep to. Like,
100%.
I'll put it on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Fall
that's a whole
asleep.
thing as well. Yeah. ASMR videos, ASMR loops, all that kind of thing. Just things that can help you just fall asleep, music, whatever. But every 5 minutes, or even every 3 minutes, you're throwing an ad in there, right? If you're trying to fall asleep, it's going to wake you up. If I'm trying to listen to music, it's going to interrupt. Imagine going to a concert and like every 3 minutes, like an advert for vacuum cleaners or some shit. Like, I don't want that. And you know what's going to
Hey, but YouTube Premium, am I right?
No, you're not. No. I'm not listening. I'm not doing that shit. What I'm going to do is what you told me, and that's taking the playhead, dragging it right to the end, and then hitting the rewind button.
Yep.
And what that does at the moment is it removes the adverts. Now, YouTube are going to coin onto that. They're going to realise the logic behind it is if you've watched the whole video, you shouldn't need to watch the adverts again. You can rewatch it if you want. That's fair. They're going to coin onto that, okay? And we're now part of the problem because we're promoting that trick, which means they're going to find out and then they're going to remove it. So,
look, if it saves people a little bit of hassle in the short term, it's probably worth it.
It's all about the short term.
Yeah. If not, just get an ad blocker for your phone or something. Come on, guys.
Yeah, no. I've tried that. They don't work. Like the advert, the apps, because it's an app, it doesn't work. Like, I mean, you could just, go cold turkey, buy Nokia, and then just only use your computer for anything with internet access. People do that.
Well, you could use you can get a small tablet if you wanted.
I mean, well, yeah, but you're still going to be susceptible to adverts.
All right, a small Windows tablet.
Something that can actually has a browser. You can do all that. I mean, I don't know. Can you get because like browser plugins, they only work for desktop, don't they? Surely. I mean, if you've got like anything with an app doesn't.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. If it's Windows and you've got the Windows OS,
that's true because Windows 10's got a good tablet thing.
As experienced by the tablet that I have right now.
Yeah, so literally, so what is this? This is a HP...
Yeah, HP Envy, right? It's a full flippy, floppy tablet thingy, mabobby. And that is how I'm going to sell this product to you, sir. Or
Please
madam, listening on the other side.
HP, please sponsor us. So, like...
It's got a touch screen. We've set it up so we can just see our mood board.
Very nice. Yeah, we can. So in moments like these where we're struggling for something to talk about, we can quickly just glance at the board.
Let me expand on the mood board while we're at it.
Yeah.
And talk about diamond hands.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's do that thing. Yeah.
And to add a little bit to this, Marcus here has invested in one of the shorted stocks, and I'm not gonna go into how much, how long, any of that rubbish.
Yeah, because you don't know. I've not told you.
Tell me a bit, but not
not a concrete figure.
Whatever you've told me, I'm not going to put it out to the masses. Essentially, unlike that France bet you made a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I've got a history. Okay,
so I'll let him explain why he chose to become one of the diamond hands from Wall Street Bets.
I don't want to go into too much detail into the background, right? Because I feel, this podcast was recorded on the 7th of February, 2021, and I don't know when we're going to release it. Probably Wednesday. I'm not sure.
We're aiming for Wednesday.
Aiming for Wednesday.
So the 10th of February.
So what I'm talking about happened probably 2 weeks from when you'll be listening to this. Okay, so 2 weeks ago. You have a load of Reddit. You have a guy who realizes that the GameStop stock and other stocks are being shorted. I'm not going to go into what that means. If you know, then obviously you know, and if you don't, then you can Google it. It's huge in the news right now.
Essentially, if it's putting a bet on a stock to lose value.
Yeah, and in order to do the bet, you have to basically loan stock from someone else and then sell it back to them. And then the difference in price is your profit. Now, it's completely legal and that's fine. The problem with it is over 100% of GameStop stock was being bet on. More stock was being borrowed than what existed. And that needs to be regulated better. And that's the whole argument, right? So
This kind of goes back to the '08 crisis as well. Like a lot of people and a lot of people alive now remember it.
oh
Like,
yeah,
I was only in high school during the crash, but I still remember the kind of hardship it put our family through, to the point where we were regulating our water usage because we couldn't afford to just flush the toilet.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, and I say this in the lightest possible. I say this in the utmost respect. Shit, man. That's really bad.
No, we had a rule, right? If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. I think a lot of
Right,
families
the fact that you've got a saying for that speaks
Yeah.
essays. Like,
And I feel like right now, probably I couldn't care less about what's going on in the stock market. The stock market, all in all, does not affect me in the slightest. But a lot of people are basically sticking the finger to these big Wall Street investors and saying, fuck you.
at their own expense.
At their own expense, fuck you and what you stand for.
So the problem was, in 2008, luckily I didn't suffer this, but a lot of people lost their homes, you know? So this is the chance for the little guy to be like, no, exactly there, fuck you, right? Like, and as a result, a lot of the rich hedge funds have lost billions of dollars in what's been going on. The problem is,
Well, the main one that was doing it has gone bust, hasn't it? Melvin Capital. It's just gone. Kapoosh.
really, wow.
Yeah, like they lost so much money, they had to close shop.
They were actually, like, there were talks of them going to get bailed out, which sparked up a huge uproar. Like, why should... Oh, you get a mortgage, can't repay it, you made a bad decision. You get a...
No, you get a mortgage, you can't repay it, they repossess your house.
You get a bill, you can't pay it, like, you go into debt and all that.
Yeah, you lose your access to utilities.
Whereas these guys, you know, your bet on Wall Street didn't come out, you get bailed out, it's fine. Don't worry about it, it's okay. Rich people are okay.
Here's millions and billions of dollars of public money. And, okay, right. We're two British guys talking about this.
It's not really, like, you know, a problem.
And this
for,
is
American stock
stocks.
market. Yeah, exactly.
But it's a matter of principle, because what happens in America, let's be fair, affects the whole world.
And the problem is they've got the default, the main currency right now is dollars. It used to be pounds, okay, but as a country, we're shit. So the dollar is now the de facto currency, right? So like it or not, what happens over there affects what happens over here, and that's really irritating. Genuinely, mate, there's nothing to be proud of if you are British, in my opinion. I think we've got things were so good.
We've got a rich history, but the 21st century Britain is not a proud Britain in the slightest.
Yeah, no, I mean, Boris Johnson, he's getting so many memes
Not even
made of
Boris
him.
Johnson.
He's getting memed to fuck. Like, I'm not
Boris
even joking.
Johnson, David Cameron, Theresa May.
We've got a good beer. We've got the beer's good.
Yeah,
But I mean, you're drinking Budweiser right now, which is not British.
You might think we're attacking the Conservative Party, but Gordon Brown was terrible as well. Like, they've been terrible for many, many years.
The bigoted woman. Well, no. To be fair, that boosted public morale massively when that video came out. It was so funny. It's like, wow, okay. Shit.
But talking about American beer, there is a reason I went for this.
Well, yeah, because Moretti was out of stock.
Not only that, I went to the shop to buy a case of Moretti. They had no Moretti. I was like, right, okay, what am I buying the beer for? It's because it's Super Bowl Sunday today. Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm a rare Brit who likes American football.
There's not many of them going. Not many.
So I thought, you know what? Out of all the beers, it's not my preference of a beer, but it is American beer. Budweiser. I got it. It tastes like shit, but it's the Super Bowl, and I need to feel like an American today.
Budweiser, please sponsor us. So we've got HP, we've got Budweiser.
I feel like we're throwing in too many sponsor requests in the first episode.
Well,
not even the first episode 000.
They don't even need to sponsor us because, I mean, we've got all the stuff, like, we don't need...
No, they don't need to sponsor us. We're selling them out anyway.
I like it. Nice.
Oh, talking about that. Now, I remember saying to your grandma years ago that I would always pay my way through life. I would never take out loans or anything. And this is the thing I've been sitting on for half the week that I've been saving. Again, going back to like, you've got stuff to talk about and you've got to save it. Which is, I applied for a credit card.
Right, so what my grandma was saying was, right, my grandma likes you a lot. She thinks you're a great kid. Great, okay. She always talks about how, you know what, I really like Kristian. He always said how he didn't want to get things on credit. He always wanted to save up for it and pay for it, And my grandma's all about, because she's from an older generation, she's not got much money. She's all about the B word, okay, which, believe it or not, is budget, okay. So she's all about budget, okay. And I'm sorry, what?
I applied for a credit card.
Okay.
And there is a reason I did this. It's not just because I've no money.
Oh, this is what you were talking about.
This,
so I'm looking at the notes here, and I'm looking at it.
It's at the top.
Is it at the top?
It's
right.
at the top.
Right. Credit cards and APR amounts. Why pay to have credit scores?
Yeah. I've got a credit card for the sole purpose of increasing my credit score. Because at the minute, without a credit card, I can't get approved for anything. And I've tried, trust me, I have tried. For example, this laptop, I bought it outright. I had the money to buy it outright. But I decided, let's get it on debit, on loan, so that I can
buy it outright.
So that I can start building that credit score. But before I went for that option, I made sure I had the money in the bank to pay for it in case anything happened that made it so that I couldn't. I feel like that's an acceptable thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think if you can afford something as a backup, like everyone should have like some savings or something to one side. Say, I don't know, ideally 3 to 6 months worth of your income to one side, just in case something comes up, right? And if you've got a laptop on credit, at least you can pay it off if you need to.
Yeah, exactly. But
have you got interest on that?
No, I paid for this straight out.
Oh, did you?
I didn't get approved for the
what? I thought you
finance.
All right, okay.
I went for finance to improve that credit score.
Yeah.
They said no, we can't approve you. You're too risky, or whatever metric they use for it. So
there is a pandemic, to be fair.
Yeah, so I just paid for it outright, and I got the laptop outright, and in all intents and purposes, I stand by that purchase. It was a good purchase. However, it brought up that thing in my head of, hey, if I can't even get a laptop on loan, how am I going to get a mortgage in the future? How am I going to be able to pay for things?
Like, in retrospect, it's a small purchase.
Yeah.
The two biggest purchases you'll make in your life are a house and then a car, right?
No, a kid.
Okay, well that's just bad planning. Well, no. Okay, no, I retract that. That is a very good point.
But yeah, for sure.
Doesn't a kid cost like £1 million or something over the course of their life?
Yeah. But going back to what you were saying, a house and a car are the biggest materialistic things that you can buy. For all intents and purposes, for the average family, we're not millionaires. Come on.
Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't, be... Well, I don't know. I mean...
Well, we wouldn't be
I'd be in Barbados, to be quite honest with you.
We'd be somewhere else, not in a small flat in the middle of this city that we live in.
It's not that small, to be fair. I quite like it. We moved in here, it was the end of August. Middle of Manchester, just outside the city centre. I like it. It's alright. I think if you shop around, you can get a good deal. But then the question is mortgage. So at what point? People always say getting a mortgage is better than renting, but it does depend.
And this goes back to it. Like, I see posts day in, day out about people applying for mortgages and getting denied. It's like, why are you getting denied? You've got a bad credit score. Why have I got a bad credit score? It's because you've not got any money saved up or anything. But of course I've not. I've been paying rent for 16 years. £500 a month for 16 years. And you're only approving for a mortgage. That, month on month, is less than the rent I am currently paying.
But if you get a mortgage, you're not going to be paying the rent.
Yeah.
You're paying the mortgage. And the mortgage is like roughly the same depending on area and the house and so on.
And there's been a huge shift from money going into the banks through mortgages to money going into private hands through landlords and leasing agents.
There's a monopoly on it. I mean, quite literally. It's property, you know.
And I can understand it's not something that I haven't thought about. I would love to get onto the market as a landlord because it's a great way to kind of, make something of yourself.
In theory, passive income, I mean, there's going to be a bit of maintenance, a bit of bullshit here and there, but I mean, in general, it's pretty decent. You know, people pay their rent, it's all good.
But in the all in all, the renters market has exploded and the market to have a mortgage has been getting harder and harder.
There is an argument that some people have. Why would you want to own anything? If you rent something, no hassle, someone else's responsibility to deal with problems or breakages or issues, just rent. It's fine. And then whatever money that you have got, I don't know, let's say you've got like a 10% deposit on a house. Average house, I believe, is something like £200,000. So what, you got 20 grand sitting there, ready for a mortgage deposit. Why spend it on a mortgage? Why not just, invest it or do something? It's really hard to accumulate money. So when you eventually accumulate money, it's a lot of money to just spend in one go. Like you kind of think to yourself, like should I not just like invest it or do something like maybe start a business? So sometimes like getting a mortgage isn't always the best thing.
For sure.
Especially if it means that you're bankrupt after it, and it's like shit. It's taken me all these years to build up all this money, and now that I've got a mortgage, it's a loan. I can't miss a payment. I have to make sure.
It's like you're paying rent to yourself at the end of the day.
Well, that's the counter argument, and that's what I believe in. Like you're paying into your own. Yeah, there's interest, and sometimes people say to me, "Oh yeah, but if you buy a mortgage, then you got to pay interest." Well, shit, man. Like if you're renting for 30 years, all of that is technically interest because you're not going to get any of that back. I think for me, the key thing, it would be great to own a home. Neither of us own homes. I don't know if you've picked that up by now, right?
We live in a flat.
Yeah, and we rent it. So it's for your kids. Like you die, fuck it, whatever. I'm done. Shop's closed. Sayonara biatch, and you have a home, whether the mortgage is paid off or not. Something can be left to the kids. If you're renting, nothing can be left.
Yeah,
and then the kids have to pay for the funeral costs and all that stuff, So at the bare minimum, that's why I believe getting the property ladder is a good thing. But
it gets more and more difficult year on year.
And that's definitely the thing. Prices are going up in any country. So surely it's a bad time to buy if prices are going. During the pandemic, prices went through the roof.
Which is ironic if you think about it.
I know, because then you got to buy a new roof. Shit. That's fucking it.
You know what?
Because that's the thing. When you buy a house, you're liable to the expenses.
Yeah.
And actually, like we're renting this flat, right? No expenses. It's fine. Got to pay bills. Whatever. It's fine. Boiler. Don't give a shit. They can pay for it. There's a threshold. There's a point of crossover where if you own the home, you have to own it for so many years before it becomes profitable, right? Otherwise,
you may as well just keep renting.
Yeah, exactly. If you're owning a home for like 2 or 3 years and then moving again, remortgaging, you might as well just rent.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like, I'm surprised we got this place as cheap as we did.
Yeah.
Because you're aware that the average cost in the market is going up, and you're trying to get something decent at a decent price. You don't want to be paying above your budget because then you're just gonna not have money to do what you want to do at the end of the month.
But it's a decent flat as well. We could get a flat cheaper than this easily.
Oh, God, yeah.
But I mean, the location's great. Round the corner from work for me, not too far for you.
Like the place we were in last time, that went down in price. And it's about £150 cheaper per month than where we are now.
Really?
But when you attach, say, commuter bills, the cost to run the appliances, stuff like that, this place is a lot better. And it's that balance of the excess bills against what you're actually paying in rent.
I'm glad to hear that you think that, because I chose this place. So
yeah.
I'm glad it was a good decision. I like it. I mean, like, we've got underfloor heating. I mean, that's pretty decent, to be fair. I mean, in the old place...
I think the biggest cost factor going forward was commuting.
Yeah, I think so.
And with this place, we can both get to and from our places of work on foot. We don't need to use buses, taxis, drive, any of that rubbish. We just walk in. Hi guys, how are you doing? Walk home.
Exactly. Because obviously where we work, I mean, I can sort of work from home, but for what you do, no chance.
No.
Okay.
No.
You can't. I mean, unless you got a Deliveroo at where you work, and did like, because you work in a bar, right? So obviously you'd have to deliver drink to people, but then the quality would diminish because, you want it to be fresh, served, poured to you, cocktails, all that.
For sure. Like, part of the selling point of a cocktail bar is the show of making the cocktail.
It's the experience that you're paying for.
Pretty much. You don't get that on Deliveroo.
Yeah, of course not.
They arrive at your doorstep and, hey, here's your, I don't know, espresso martini.
They don't arrive at the fucking doorstep. So whenever I order Deliveroo to this
we live in an awkward place. Let's
No, it's bullshit. Right, okay. Our postcode has a specific... I've been on Google Maps with this, right? Our postcode has a specific area, right? And I enter the postcode. Great, Deliveroo, sorted. Order it, bam, here's your Kung Pao chicken, whatever the fuck, right? And then the guy is about 3 blocks down the fucking... over there somewhere, right? And I've got... And I'm looking at the map, and what's great about Deliveroo, it shows the map of the guy, and you can see him. Sadly, I was drinking beer at the time, and I was watching him, and I'm thinking, it took me 10 minutes to realise that's not where I live. I need to call this guy and let him know he's in the wrong place, right? He was a nice guy, great, whatever. But why the fuck did it place the Deliveroo marker for me in some random gaff down the?
I haven't got
fucking
a clue,
bullshit.
because I've not had a problem with it. The last delivery I got, I saw the guy coming on the map. I went outside to wait for him. Like, right, he's pretty much here. I'm gonna go outside. The guy drove up, saw me waiting on the curb, and drove a little bit further. I'm guessing, for all intents and purposes, I just look like a random guy. He wants to be safe. I can appreciate that. But he calls me. I pick it up. He goes, "Hi, I'm here with your delivery." I'm like, "Are you in the silver car?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Hi."
It's like, right, I'm the guy.
Pretty much. He's like, "Oh." Shit.
Funny, this guy. So I told him to meet me at a. He didn't come to the doorstep in the end. He came. He parked outside the shop across the road from where we live, and he was the one who said to me, "Oh, is it Marcus?" I'm like, "Yeah." You got my food? Yeah, sweet. Okay, great. So that was good. That was good service. But I just feel, just a bit disgruntled at the situation. Like, I entered my postcode and it doesn't even go off my location, my device location. Like, it just goes off some random, like, I don't even know. I don't even know what that is.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
No, I can. I've had enough bloody things delivered to it. I mean, shit, So that's like a recent calamity that I've had.
All right. Can I talk about another calamity that has happened in the UK? Its death rate passes 100,000, and statistically speaking, we're probably one of the worst in the world.
Oh no, we are 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
for sure,
really bad.
And one of our great heroes of this tragedy passed away recently.
Oh, I know why you're talking about this.
Yeah.
Wednesday, I came home and I'm like, I want to discuss, and you're like, nope, don't speak about it. We'll wait till Sunday.
Sir
Tom Moore.
Tom Moore.
You forgot his name, didn't you?
I wasn't sure. I didn't want to. I knew it was Tom Moore. I was like, I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to double check.
Yeah. You need to get
Like,
the title right.
He deserves the respect to have his name said right first time.
I don't know much about his war stories, because he obviously is a veteran, right?
He was a veteran of World War II.
He was a captain,
Yeah.
so that's a pretty,
Yeah,
like-
Captain Tom Moore. He did 100 laps in his garden to raise money for an NHS charity. Not for the NHS itself, like a lot of people are framing it to be.
Yeah.
Not for the NHS itself, but for one of the charities that supports the nurses and doctors that work within the NHS, which was amazing. Very respectable, especially for someone at 99 years of age.
Yeah, at the time.
And
I mean, it's mental because
Yeah.
the whole cause went viral, and that's the reason why it raised so much money.
Yeah.
But he still did the work. He still
It
still
raised
started.
millions. And what a guy. Like, I can't say anything other than what a guy.
Sadly, this week he passed away.
He did. He passed away this week. And what was the response from the government? Let's all go out and clap for Sir Tom Moore.
So, it's been an emotional year, right? Not going to go into much detail. He got knighted. What a man. What a guy. Clapping, right? So...
Right, the clapping. We appreciated it at the start of the March lockdown. I think after 12 weeks, everyone was fed up.
Genuinely, it was a good thing. I enjoyed it. I thought, we're part of something. It reminded me of a time where I wasn't actually alive, which was the war. It was just a beautiful moment. Everyone's in it together, that sort of thing. Right? Very, very, very humble feeling, right? I don't know when it stopped. I don't know when it phased out.
I think it was after 12 weeks. They were like, we've got to stop. Like, these guys...
Yeah, it's got to a point where...
They're doing a fantastic job,
Yeah,
and we don't want to ridicule them week on week by just clapping.
Yeah, so there was a lot of people talking about how, don't clap. Give us a pay rise, come on.
Yeah. So what does the Prime Minister suggest to pay his respects to this absolute behemoth?
You're applauding his death, basically. It's like, oh yeah, another one for the
Yeah.
in the
We
grave.
essentially applauded the fact that he died. And I don't know about you, but I don't applaud in a funeral.
It's like, hey, you're done. Sorted.
Yeah. That's not the way to go about it at all. And
Not
I think
really.
it definitely ruffled a few feathers.
Yeah, I think
especially here.
you can commend his efforts, but I just think, I don't know, it's a weird one. So the whole clapping thing, I genuinely liked it back in March. I thought it was really good. It was really humble, really nice, right? I will say that I do know of people who didn't like the clapping from day one and will proudly say, oh, I never clapped, I never did it. Well, I don't personally agree with that sentiment. I think that's quite mockery. That is a mockery of what we're just doing and the whole pandemic and all that. But I think this is a different...
Yeah, let me add to that. I never clapped for the NHS. Not because I didn't want to, but because it was kind of a impossible thing for the place I was living. We didn't have a garden.
There's no communal aspect to it. You can't really,
I understood at the time that this is the time that we're going to clap for the NHS and show our support for the work that our health staff are doing for the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like even that has been gone, well done, we're now going to flush it in the toilet and make things even hard for you.
So were you allowed to flush the toilet at this point?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good.
I'm like, what? I don't want to get too political on this, but all in all, the clapping stopped. It needed to stop, and the fact that we had to clap for Sir Tom Moore as well just shows how incompetent the government has been. That the only thing they can do to show respect is offer an applause.
I mean, that's the problem, because obviously clapping it's just not enough. You need to back it up with some support.
No, you need to back it up with action.
That's true. You can't just clap. Applaud his actions, not his death.
Yeah.
And I think that
was the big takeaway that we got from it, was we're applauding his death, not his actions.
That's how, very weird feeling.
Yeah.
Didn't really feel. I mean, when we were in the first lockdown, I was living at my mum's house, right? So, living in a back street, we've got loads of people banging pots and pans outside their windows. Great, fantastic. I clapped a few times, and it, again, I'll say the word wholesome. It felt really great, but obviously, that God, I want to say that action, that sentiment.
That's the one I was thinking of.
It really encapsulated the mood of the people back then, when we were scared of the virus. We didn't know what was going to happen. We don't know what the future's going to be. At this point now, we're just like, yeah, fuck it. We just want to just crack on, we understand the virus more. We're not as scared of it. A lot of people are just fed up and just want to crack on when the time's right. Okay, and I don't think clapping has the same sentimental value that it used to. I'm getting pretty low on my drink. I believe it might be time for me to open up the Brooklyn's gin.
See, my extension on that is, I feel like you say, back in March and April, no one knew what the virus was. We didn't know how deadly it could be.
Oh yeah, you've no idea. Honestly, you just got to be careful,
But as we become more understanding of the pandemic, we've more and more realised that it only really affects an older generation and people with more health difficulties compared to the average citizen.
Yeah.
And those people have probably gone, well, this is probably just going to be an inconvenience to me.
I'm using a jigger for this. There you go.
It's going to be an inconvenience more than something that's going to kill me. Which, is one way to look at it, but you've also got to look at it as a society. And you getting ill from COVID-19 could affect 50 to 100 people. And you got to think about that with every action you take.
So, my grandma, bless her, she's a strong-willed person. She's bored out of her head. I mean, honestly, bless her, and I can't wait to see her again. I've not seen her for months, honestly. I'm really...
No, I get that sentiment. Every time I know I'm going to see my nan, I wait 2 weeks. I have a 2-week window where I don't see anybody, so I can see my nan for a couple of hours. And that's in the garden. That's talking through a window or through the door.
Yeah.
That's not going in, hugging, saying, hi, how are you? That's just so I can actually talk to her.
I do feel like hugging... So obviously the problem is distance, right? You're too close to someone. Even before lockdown was declared back on March 23rd, from March 18th through to 23rd, hugging was criminalized. It was shit, you can't hug anyone. It was, but I mean, if you're in the same room, I know it's mitigating risk, but it's just
it's all about the shoulder tap. No, not the shoulder. Shoulder's up here.
Yeah.
The elbow tap.
The elbow tap. What's the elbow tap?
Instead of shaking hands, hugging, kissing, put your elbow out and you tap. Okay. And that's it.
Just letting you know that we did
handshake.
We did just do the shoulder tap then, just so you know.
And this, a lot of people are thinking this is going to be the new thing now. Fuck shaking hands in the future. You're going to tap shoulders. You're not going to pass anything by tapping a shoulder. And it's true. It's what I did in work. I work in the hospitality industry. Shaking hands was terrible.
It's you know what's funny? So a friend of mine shared a picture with me recently on WhatsApp, and it's basically of an old castle, right? And you can see the castle wall high up. There's a chamber, a room that sticks out. It protrudes from the wall. Okay, below that protrusion is a channel. You see, yeah,
I've seen this.
You've
seen
seen the picture, right?
Not because Marcus has sent it to me. I think I saw it on Reddit.
Yeah, that's probably where I got it originally. And basically, you've got this chamber, right, from outside the castle perspective, you've got like a pipe, a channel, protruding again from the castle wall, down from below the chamber, and into the ground. Essentially, like the slaves back in the day, they would shovel shit.
It's a medieval shitter.
A medieval shitter,
from
right?
the top of your tower, take a shit that goes down this stone pipe into a ditch where your lowly peasant shovels it into the field.
Otherwise known as the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
That's what my friend said with context when he said
Have you seen the news about pubs being allowed to reopen without booze?
No, that's just stupid. Now, I get what people are saying. It's like, when people are drunk, they're going to be less, like, abiding of the rules and all that kind of thing. Well,
no, yeah, I agree with that.
well,
principle.
you work in a bar, so like you have a good...
the curfew just vaulted everyone onto the streets at the same time.
Everyone starts drinking early.
Yeah.
People are out for the same amount of time, and everyone's on the street at the exact same amount of time.
Yeah.
People get in the tube. They're all in at the same time. It is stupid. And whatever action they take now, okay, that condones the same behaviour, is stupid.
And I feel like the best tweet I've seen about all this was from Sasha Lloyd, where it's gone...
Who?
Sasha Lloyd.
Who's that?
Is the hospitality minister in Manchester.
Is his surname actually Lord?
Yeah.
Is he a Lord?
I don't know.
Weird. Continue.
However, his big tweet was, what? So we're going to reopen the bars and people go down to Sainsbury's to buy the beer and then pay an entry fee to get into the pub to drink the beers.
Love it.
It's completely backwards.
There's been talk of... I don't have the stats on this, but apparently the hospitality industry is not that big of a contributor.
I believe...
But then sure, that's because it's been closed the whole fucking time.
If memory serves me right, while hospitality was open, it served about 1.2 to 1.6 of cases.
Okay.
Compared to every other place you could catch coronavirus. And I think the biggest contributor, when I read this article, was supermarkets. Just doing your weekly shop was the biggest contributor.
So obviously hospitality can't be a contributor because it's been shut. It's been shut the whole fucking time, right? I know in the summer we had that little thing, help out, eat out, whatever the fuck, right?
Eat out to help out.
Yeah, okay, whatever you want to call it. But obviously shops are going to be a high factor because that's where everyone has to go. So, not that I don't want pubs to be open again because, I kind of want you to be in work and shit.
Not only that, I feel like in terms of precautions taken, hospitality took the most.
Yeah, of course.
My own place
Massively.
of work
Yeah.
introduced thermometers at the door, and if you were above a certain temperature range,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
out.
Was that before this lockdown? Was that during the time when they had
Eat out
the
to help
tier
out.
system?
No, eat out to help out. Like,
Really?
as soon as we reopened, we were taking temperatures at the door, saying, "Look, if you are above a certain temperature, you are not coming into this place."
I mean, that's the best. Like at the moment, that's the best screening that we can offer.
Yeah.
So
we increased sanitizer protection. We provided masks to every employee.
I mean, no one's like...
We provided little belt buckle sanitizer bottles. Anything possible was done so that the staff could be safe and not be a spreader.
Of course, because the staff are mingling with the most amount of people because of all the customers.
Right. The amount of steps taken and the amount of steps that we had to learn just so we could reopen was immense. It wasn't just a simple, all right, we're kicking the doors open, just, remember to wash your hands. No, it
was a big thing.
Yeah.
This is much bigger than Ebola, and here's my issue, right? So, swine flu, Ebola didn't amount to anything. Yeah, because people washed their hands, right? So, if people had adhered to sensible reason much sooner, closing the borders, doing all that, I genuinely believe that the government would have been ridiculed for shutting up shop too early. Oh, well, it's not that bad. Everything's okay. Yeah, because precautions have been taken. Right?
This goes on to a topic that I wanted to avoid, but now that you brought it up, it's kind of unavoidable, which is, right now, what we needed was a proactive government that would take the steps before things got too bad.
What is the definition of conservative?
Not a government that tries to satisfy the people at every turn, and in doing so has made it so much worse.
Like, in literal definition, conservative means to just be chill, be like laid back. Yeah, everything's fine, keep it how it is. But clearly, how it is not right. Yeah, this is getting too political, actually.
So, to close off this conversation, the thing that I look forward to the most right now is the reports that will come out 5 years from now that will compare COVID responses nation by nation.
This is history.
Yeah.
And isn't that really interesting?
It is.
When you think about it.
You never think that you're living through history, but when someone says, think about it, this is history in the making, it's quite an abstract thought to try and process. Because when you think about the world as a whole, considering we are a globalised society, and we can look at how country A and country B have handled it compared to ourselves, and how country C has done such a bad job, you know, it's intriguing, and I look forward to the academic reports that come out from it.
Yeah.
Because it'll really shine.
Those things will take time. You have to give it time before like a proper report can obviously be produced, but it is really interesting to think we're in this time period. You kind of feel like, oh, history has happened, like that's fine, and what's happening now is kind of, whatever, forgettable. But actually, history is constantly being produced. So, you know, who knows what the reports will say, what the academics and the scholars will say about this time period. I think for me, what's important is getting through it and somehow, you know, finding ways to not let it affect you. Like my mum working at home, she's quite happy, that's fine. I do believe that after a while, it will get boring and she will miss that social interaction that the office brings, of course, right? Like, it's human, right? Like, people are talking about, oh, you know, lockdown, working at home is the future. A lot of companies will be saving money on office space because everyone's already adapted and used to working at home, and that's fine. But, you know, there's a human element.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, going to work, that commute, giving yourself up for work, it takes a lot of time. People in London get in the tube 4 hours out of their day every single day to get to work. That's shit.
Yeah.
That's
also,
awful.
A lot of friendships and a lot of relationships are built on that foundation. It's people you meet on your commute. It's people you meet in the office.
It's a bit weird, but there are friends that I made over Xbox Live 10 years ago as a kid playing Halo. Great, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know their name. I don't even know how to connect with them again. Okay, but you, like, came over to my grandma's house every weekend when I go over, play Xbox, play some Halo, do whatever, Modern Warfare 2, and like we're still friends today, right? That's the difference.
Yeah,
like, we've got that personal connection.
That's exactly what it is. Like, you can't, for all intents and purposes, there's nothing to stop a personal connection. And an example I could give is
other than a pandemic.
An example I could give is during this pandemic, I have started playing Call of Duty Warzone a lot. And through playing Warzone, I've come into contact with my squad, if you like. I don't know these guys personally, but these are guys that I just met in a game, and we decided, hey, we like playing with each other, and we formed a squad. And now, pretty much every day, every other day, we're on at the wee hours of the night playing Warzone. But as soon as a new game comes out, I know that'll be it. We don't know each other personally. As soon as they start playing whatever comes next, and I've not got it, that's it. I'm not going to be playing with these guys anymore.
You part ways, you do your own thing.
Yeah.
Do you ever see a world in which you could meet up? Like, does your friendship have potential beyond the game?
Oh, yeah. Mainly because we're all UK based.
Okay, so
we don't have to go overseas to see them.
Time zone helps. These guys I knew, they were in like Seattle or some shit. I don't even know.
Yeah, like
I don't even know what state.
we're all in the same time zone. We're all in the UK, and maybe in the future we might play games long enough to say, let's meet up and actually have a beer. I don't think we're at that point yet, but it could happen in the future.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if your friendship is based on the game, like, remove the game in a pub where there are no games.
Yeah.
Other than the slots. Would that? Well, then it depends on like the chemistry and the fundamental like qualities of like, you know, what the friendship has. Like, that's a whole discussion.
Yeah.
But I'd like to hope that some of the people that I know, that I speak to once every 2 months, that I know just through playing games, would be cool guys to have a beer with, you know?
Yeah, I'd hope so as well.
But isn't that such a weird phenomenon? Like,
yeah,
150, even 20 years ago, that would not be possible, really.
God, no.
To most people, yeah.
Well, the first kind of internet was, 1976?
Well, yeah, but it's not like, what, you're going to play a fucking Asteroid
God, no.
and have a squad? No, it's not really. Only in the last kind of, at a stretch, 20 years, have we seen potential for this.
The dot-com era kind of built what is the modern internet that we see today, and the modern ability to socialise, interact, and meet new people without actually being face-to-face.
Yeah.
Which is amazing in a way, and also kind of scary.
Yeah, because it gets to the point where, does social interaction become obsolete?
Could be.
I hope not, because it's such a nice thing. But then surely, in me thinking it's a nice thing, others think it's a nice thing, which means it cannot become obsolete because people obviously want it. But it depends what... I mean, there's new generations starting all the time.
Well,
the gap between generations is a lot shorter now.
True. And you're not going to... Like, my thought on that is you're not going to have an intimate relationship through Discord.
Yeah, not really.
Not a fully engaged intimate relationship. Sure, you can send each other this and that, but you're not going to have that relationship that you would get face to face.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, that's where it breaks down.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
Like,
and to explain, that sound means we've hit the 60-minute mark. And I will admit, we did start the counter a little later than we should have.
Yeah, so we're looking at roughly 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes later.
Yeah.
But it's a rough guideline. Like, it's fine, right?
Pretty
It's
much.
okay.
Our goal for this podcast is it's a solid time frame each and every week. So you can go, this is a 60-minute podcast. We can listen to it beginning to end in this time frame. And you don't have to worry about variation.
It's great because I'm dying for a whiz right now.
You and me both, if I'm honest.
So,
it's been great having this inaugural podcast, and I hope when we do the first episode, you'll all tune in as well. But for now, this is it from TGT. Two guys talking.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's Chris, Marcus. Good night, good morning, mid-afternoon, wherever you are. And we'll see you on the next one.